Why would it be prophesied in one of the prophets' Bibles? It says there's going to be young men and women searching for this very word. That says, what is sin? Because, Brett, you know as well as I do. We can go to a lot of churches, Kathy, and not all of them are preaching sin. They're entering in and saying, just come on in and pay your tithes. But they're not asking the important question. When I first walked into a church, the Lord hit me in the heart so bad and said, you're a sinner. Make your way to an altar. You need help, Jack. Ain't that the way it was, Paul, when you first met this Jesus? When he said, I want to take you by the hand. Man, I remember how sweet it was. I laid down all of this 100 pounds of old nasty sand. I walked away and Jesus took my hand and he walked me back to my seat. He said, good to have you in the fold. He said, it's just nice to have you there. I want you to know, Jack, how much I love you. Brett, do you remember when Jesus put his arms around you? Do you remember Paul when he said, I love you, amen. I'll do anything for you. I'll prove it to you when you look and open up the book next time. I'll show you how far I'll spread open my arms. I'll show you that I'll be reaching for you. I'll put these arms open as the nails begin to hit. I felt that whether anybody else did. Okay, Lord, what is it? And I opened up my arms. And it felt as though I was feeling his pain. I felt the nails that went between the two bones. And Isaiah has said that not a bone is broke. Brett, I've often wondered how they put nails in him and didn't break bones. But the nail went between. I just felt it. It went right between so perfectly. It went between those bones. And you know how many bones is in a foot? More than the rest of the human body. And yet God directed that nail. It went through each bone until it plastered back into the wood. Oh, how it hurt. Every time that the weight of Jesus went down upon them nails. Oh, how it hurt to split them bones just a little bit. I don't know if anybody ever's been hurt that way, but to have your bones split apart, it's a pain that's unbearable. But Jesus looked down and he looked at a little guard. He said, I forgive you. He said, I feel the pain. But he said, I forgive you. Kind of the same message it was last week, and the same Spirit's still here. I forgive you. I just put this on the internet last week. Jesus crucified. Brad, how many churches have you been into in the last 3 or 4 years have you heard Jesus crucified preached? People, Tina, don't preach Jesus crucified. You don't feel the hurt and the agony and the pain of the people that said who? Oh, you don't feel the hurt and the agony of the Most High as he hung upon the cross. And Jesus with those ears heard Peter say who? You don't hear as Jesus heard the rest of the disciples as they mingled out trying to get out of the city. Their stomachs was sick. They was barfing up, I imagine, and puking because they had to tell lies. When the town people got together and said, you walk with Jesus. Get away from me. Hey man, I don't know who this Jesus is. And Jesus' ears picked up on it, Tina, and he heard the words who? Is anybody hearing or feeling? Every time that you get out in the world, and this is the message I wanted to preach tonight, and I'm coming to it, the Lord is just bringing me into it. What is our conversation found today? Who? I feel something from the very bowels of my belly. Who are you? Aren't you Peter? You had a big mouth when you walked with Jesus. You got the wrong man. I wasn't never with this man called Jesus. He tore off his clothes, jumped on a fishing boat, and began to go fishing again. And he heard a voice familiar. Listen, Brett, how sweet Jesus is when he came down off of the cross. Who? And Jesus, from a little old fire where he was cooking up some fish,